Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel about a champion who everyone thought was going to die. Except he didn't, and he's like one of those poster boy champions that kind of just will never go away. He's weak for a patch or two, right? Say, nah. Fiddlesticks must always have a 52% win rate and be viable in the meta. And obviously the kiting of camps and the co-joining of camps, as you can see, is not as extreme as we thought it would be in terms of its limitations. At the same time, you know, Kane definitely got fisted a lot more than Fiddle. Ironically, you know, considering we thought this was like the king of joining camps together. But hey, when you give him pets and more damage and more sustain, that's all stuff he's going to enjoy. So, runes you're to see on your screen. First strike is the way to go. The live companion guide, as we stand still, as we finish the grump for some particular reason, will be obviously linked below on Zada.gg. Perfect for letting you know what routes to go on Fiddle. And if you didn't know what route that would be, it's a full clear. Yeah. Sorry to break that news to you if you didn't know. But obviously we are full clearing jungler. How can we change the nature of a game just by being Fiddlesticks? If you're wondering how exactly he did the wolves, he stood there and sucked it. This is where it gets interesting, the red side quadrant. So we're going to E to pull the sucker out, we're going to suck, we're going to auto attack, standard stuff. As this gets a little bit low, you can watch for the exact markers and of course go into practice tool and practice it yourself. We E the red, we bring it back just under 300 HP, that's typically the marker, provided you have spell damage. People kind of took that when I said it in another video, 250 to 300 HP, and they thought, oh, I'll just kite the camp at 250 HP. But if you have no spells up, you know, the patience will reset. So you got to make sure you have the spells. Now, in this particular case, you might think, hey, we can do the Krugs in the red. You can a little bit. You saw that the HP was 244. Then we move, we kite, we suck, we get the kill. Okay, so this is the optimization we're looking at. And of course, keep your clears optimized, you know, go to practice tool and make sure you're getting them as fast as possible. We don't always have the best clears on this channel because, you know, even though the high elo players that play the champion, oh, that's so unlucky. You've got to look to see where you can actually impact lanes. And the thing is, as soon as you take yourself out of practice tool in that environment, now just to talk a little bit about what he's doing here, we have the Echo coming to the mid lane with the Talon who's low, and the Fiddlesticks is looking as we can kind of keep everything in one screen to try and get into the Vlad, but obviously if he has Sanguine Pool, there's nothing you can do about that. And the most important thing is here, while you're doing your own clear, you're F-King looking at lanes. You're tracking the enemy jungler's location. You're looking to see what you can clean up. At the very least, we want to try and get one scuttle. Full clear plus scuttle, as we talked about in the Diana video, which, of course, we did. Now, Echo should show up in a timely fashion to the top side. Here we go, as expected. The Scion does get a nice little kill onto the Fiora, but the Echo's going to show up here. The Q over the wall, we're going to avoid it with the E. We're going to make sure we hit that E. We can auto-attack Q, and that will kill the Scion. Now, we don't really need to walk to the top side here. This is what we call not so good tracking because we know straight up that the Echo showed up mid lane, 20. Shows up top lane, 24. Takes some minions, 26. So now you know 26 and you know his Krugs are available and he's resetting on a ward, which means he's most likely going down to his bottom side quadrant here. We, on the other hand, could have looked to just straight up reset, but at the same time, as you will note, obviously, when you don't have the Treasure Hunter plus the Futures Market combo, sometimes those added gold benefits don't amount to the best sort of itemization. In this case, we still have Futures. We don't have Treasure Hunter. Obviously, you don't want to do an Ultimate Hunter, but I'm talking more about those champions who do run First Strike. You kind of want to do another loop, right? You want to optimize it first back as much as possible. Now, this loop, we full clear Crab, try and get doubles, counter gank, we do the grump, we do the wolves. You can see here now we're looping back across. We know the Echo's going to go down to the bottom side. We know the numbers of jungle, so we know that around, you know, 5 to 510-ish, depending on champion and elo. The third camp that they did after their first buff, so blue, grump, wolves, raptors, in this case will be spawning. So we can go ahead and snack that while he does his grump and his wolves, or in this case wolves and then grump, shows up on a little bit of Alvision, and he's going to be moving to the mid lane and maybe doing the same thing. If it's warded here, let's have a look. It is not. He's actually going to go ahead and sneak the dragon. So when we see that, we're thinking as Fiddle, all right, is he on my Raptors? Is he on the Dragon? Blitzcrank hasn't shown that could be on the Dragon. There's no point me resetting and going there right now. Top lane looks kind of juicy and gankable. She does have 6 here. Can we get some fears and some suckies and some, there we go. Thank you, Scion, very, very nice. Leave this wave, obviously, and now we can base. So with Fiddle, the optimization of the clear is definitely affected. We definitely don't have the same speed as we used to in terms of raw kiting of the camps, but the game plan is still true, okay? Especially with First Strike, because we want to make sure we get, you know, there's some people who still like the Sulks early. Here we're going for the Dark Seal and the Fiendish. Raw AP is always good. I think raw AP is a good way to go. I mean, if you're in Elite, then the Sulks make sense, right? Because PvP nature, even though the Sulks do help out clears, Fiddle just loves good old-fashioned raw AP damage. Now, in this particular game, we will talk about itemization as we get into it, okay? We're going to talk about it a little bit later on. Don't want to talk about it right now because we need to focus on what we're doing in this particular moment with these itemizations. Now, Echo does go ahead and take the dragon, then he goes away, and then he comes back here with a W that for some reason still hits, and he does force a flash with the threat of his gank. Fiddle is now shadowing the scenario. Okay, so overall game plans, good. Full clear crab, look to contest. We could have based anyway, but you know what? We decided to go for the Grump Wolves and then time a counter jungling of his second spawn Raptors because of what he did. This is what makes you have advanced jungling. Obviously, we lost the Raptors, but this is what makes you a good jungler. When you can time that level of counter jungling into that translation gank on the top side, it's just so good. It's so clean. It gives you so many opportunities. And of course, the Echo is doing his best and does hit 6 soonest because he did the dragon. And he is doing, of course, his best to kind of gank the lanes and play around the Fiddle as well. So far, nice little balance and game going between the junglers. And the most important thing is about the Fiddle. It is what we say avoidance, right? If you don't like fighting the enemy jungler 1v1 or you want to avoid them, this is a kind of good pathing that you can have. Now, as soon as you have 6, we want to use 6. Hero goes over the wall to ward, anticipating such things, and of course, it's too late. So this is another case of good run by the mid laner, by the way. The fact that he gets a kill, this is fine. But what I love is that we've been exactly where we've needed to be for top lane ganks, even though we would want to kind of gank bot lane in this meta and focus on those kinds of things. Echo shows up, W over the wall, we clear it off. Again, we're tracking the CS. Always press tab every time he leaves vision so you can know where he's going or where he has been. Now, this particular point, do I want to stay on Grump? Yes. Do I want to then do the Wolves? Yes. What is scaring me a little bit? The Echo possibly just looping back around and doing crazy stuff like he would in most of your reloads. So what he's doing now is he says, okay, I'm going to go for the safe option, get my upgraded smite. If Echo shows somewhere, then I'll go up, do the Grump, and then do something else, potentially contest this. But we know the Echo now is going to be going to this side quadrant. He's resetting. We don't have mid prior. Vlad is in the lane. This could be repeat ganked given the nature of the positioning. And now we basically have to decide, do I want to base? Do I want to contest? Do I want to just hold mid lane? You know, there's a lot of things we could actually choose to do because we have 1,000 gold. And again, even with Futures Market, if you're something with Treasure Hunter as well, you know, you want to make sure your items that you buy are super strong. So Vlad kind of moved down there a little bit, which means it was warded. There you go. Always look for this. Look for this little move down, like here. Move down. She moves down, she wards. He moves down, she wards. So you know you're seen. So you know most likely at this particular stage, you're giving away that Herald to the Echo after he does his Krugs Red Raptors. Are you following? This is quite a fluid game. The reads are quite quick, actually. And it's different from some of the other master level games that we have where it's just, compared to the challenger games, it's just very, very slow. But, you know, the Echo could look to just carry on sequencing and counter gank the Fiddle, knowing that he's going down, right? He doesn't have to go for the Herald. Given, yeah, he is going for the Herald. Given the elo we're in and how strong the Herald could be, I do kind of value securing that and hoping my bot lane kind of pays attention to it. Because Blitzcrank is also roaming. But obviously, this could be easily warded. Thankfully, we have effigies. We don't have to go back to base just yet. With the Blitzcrank roaming, now knowing, hey, Fiddle's going down, Dragon spawning, bottom side scuttle. Wait for your support to clear this again. Good. Fog of War positioning. Very nice. Could we go for a dive? We could. No way. You don't need to dive when ADCs are dumb. Like, you know he's there, right? We saw him here pathing down. We know Echo's topside. We know our Blitzcrank was roaming for the Herald's shadow and now cut through river. We know that Fiddle should be looking to make an equal and opposite play with a dragon and a crab on the bottom side. Just don't step up against a Fiddle. Granted, Raul makes the engage and we follow up, but it was simpatico, right? We were on the same page there. Oh my god, just go away. Leave. Get out of here. So irritating, this champion. So annoying. And now it's like, oh my god, I just want the Grump, man. And now you have to leave because your bot lane are focusing the towers. And this is, if you're a jungler, you're feeling the pain right here, right? Like this, we're all in the same kind of jungle anonymous group. Yeah. Actually, on my site where I put all the coaching now, I have a package for classes, 3 classes a week, but you can come once, 3 classes a month, but you can come once a month as well. I call it Jungle Anonymous. These are the things we could talk about, and people will come and say, well, what should I have done? you could stay. I mean, but what if the Echo had reset after all of that and you come down and you're fighting this guy for a Grump, you know, and the dragon's up and you haven't reset, but you want the dragon. Now you have to give the dragon up because we didn't reset because now we have 2,100 in pocket and bot lane are going to have to back off again. They also have him based. Like, this is not such a good scenario for objective control, right? So this is the kind of stuff I'll cover on the coaching channel. By the way, new coaching channel for games like this, but for your relevant MMR. So we'll pause, we'll slow it down, we'll break things down relevant to the MMR you're in. So if you're a gold player and a lot of this is like, well, what? Then there will be a gold equivalent on the coaching channel and you kind of break it down a little slower, right? So diamond, platinum, bronze, whatever. Hopefully everything 5 times a week should be good for you. Free coaching. So just what I want to give. I like making videos, just giving information. I know sometimes we waffle and we go in depth and we go too fast, but it's nice to have different channels that accomplish different goals, I think. So that being said, in the meantime, we gave up the dragon. Again, one of the most powerful abilities we have as a jungler is to give things up and play around our ultimate. Now, we know that they're most likely going to go for this, but they're not going to get the full finish. So this is it here. We're ulting over the wall. We're going to get at least a kill on one, and then we're going to sucky as much as we can channeling, because the Vlad ult, obviously, we got to be very cautious there. There's a lot of damage from their team. And the bot lane now, I mean, the Rel could leave lane, but I don't think she's interested, man. See, with Echo doing this, most likely he's going to fall back to this and repeat gank this as soon as the Blitzcrank respawns and comes on down. So there could be a Goon Squad 3v2 in the bottom lane. Would not surprise me. So Rel tries to get in the Caitlyn's face here. The Fiddlesticks again in the meantime says, hey, I just have to fall back to camps that I know I can get safely. My ult is up in 62 seconds now. For reference there, 53 seconds. At current ultimate hunter stacks and CDR, obviously that will be a little bit different. We have 5 in the W, 2 in the Q at this point. Oh man. Pushing lanes against a fiddle, people sometimes like to go the long way around always. You don't have to, because of the range of your silence and your fear, and obviously the follow through damage and suck that you have for the sustain, you can just run at them and get a lot of kills. So here we have the Echo going in, suck, get the full channel, get the heal silenced. Be very cautious here if he has ultimate, and obviously, whoa. What was that, 6 HP or something? That was a tight 1v1. That's why with Fiddle, you want to interrupt that W as much as you can to stop the full channel, right? But he engaged on it initially, and great. I mean, he pressed W, I guess. I mean, it's not complicated, is it? The Echo tried his best. It was very, very close. A little bit unlucky in the end. He tried to get that E kill with the Q as well, but it didn't go through. Auto attack for the passive, but all right then. He pressed W, so he wins. Full channel proc off, and now of course we've gone into the Leandries again, into the raw needlessly large rod, which obviously you can flex into your Shadow Flame should you want. In this particular case, do we have enough shields to warrant this possibility, or do we just want the penetration? Obviously you don't really get it necessarily for the shields, it just helps, right? Or do we just go straight on Death Cap? That's more of an Evelyn thing. If you're a Fiddlesticks main, let us know in the comments what you think about a Death Cap secondary rush. How does it feel in terms of raw damage and scaling on everything that you have? Some Fiddles I know that I've spoken to just don't like it. They feel like you need the HP, you need other utilities from other items. Yet the cost effectiveness of those items is also very important. Especially the Hyena Fiddles will say that. But the Leandris here is a very good hidden item that people are not building on many champions in the meta where lots of people build a lot of HP. And also, just worth noting here, we have things like the Echo building HP, the Blitzcrank building HP, the Vlad's going to build HP, the Fiora will have some HP in her itemization. Therefore, you will get direct benefit from the Leandris proc. And if you're confused and saying, well, what about the active from Rocket Belt? I love covering different builds on this channel with Fiddle because of the amount of mythics he can actually go. And while I do subscribe to doing Rocket Belt as your standard kind of itemization, without a doubt, I'm not saying don't go Rocket Belt. I'm saying you can adapt your clears and your itemization, no, not your clears, never adapt those. You can adapt your itemization and your build paths to represent what you actually need to do the most damage to the enemy team. And in this case, do we need more mobility? No, because the Echo's going in. Right? The Blitzcrank is going to bring us to them. The Caitlyn has E to get out. So the Rocket Belt active in this particular game doesn't have as much potency, right? And obviously we'll keep track of this, right? We're at 800 burn damage dealt. The burn damage also, again, not... Here we go. I love this item. 80 AP, 600 mana, 20 haste, and of course the haste passive that we get. I built this in Zyra too, obviously. In Zyra it makes a lot more sense. But in this case, most people think, okay, look, Zyra, see, look at this here. That's now, we just got another 300 bonus damage. You can't see it, but I'll link the match history below. You can't see it. But did you feel like the guy liked damage there? And obviously the Gust Walk is an interesting one. The Gust Walk is nice because now, without the Rocket Belt, you want to be able to leave the bush as fast as possible and have that movement speed, the decay movement speed as we ult to kind of make up for the lack of that mobility active. So the AP and the haste, super good. While we do enjoy, as of course we go the Shadow Flame, while we do enjoy kind of the penetration from the Rocket Belt as well, and the survivability that the HP provides, the haste on having W up as much as possible against a team that's going to want to CCS and engage us, it's super, super underrated on a lot of champions. And Fiddle can go Ludens as well. We've covered that also in this channel. So, Rocket Belt, Ludens, we have the Leandries. We've seen a Night Harvester one as well. Night Harvester in general is a very good item. I like that item a lot. Again, the haste passive coming through with a bit more HP and survivability. But this is nice. And obviously, because we don't have Rocket Belt, the Shadow Flame and the Void are going to be way more important, right, in terms of that penetration. Because this is what we want right here, especially in the HP department. I mean, and just for context, our ult is doing 1900 damage over the duration. We're getting trapped here in a bush, which means, of course, we're going to die. This was silly pathing. This is something we talk about a lot in coaching, and I talk a lot about in my own games with players. I ping them, like, if you know they're here, if they've come from this angle, why are you going through this? It's warded here, they know. You have to loot from behind and kind of ward over walls, let the tank go first. This is the downside. You don't have the Rocket Belts, you don't have the HP. You're dead. You die. And for this, they will get a second Herald. So, Vlad in the meantime is still looking for the Exodia 25 Magi. That's an appropriate Vladimir name, I think. Yeah, without a doubt. Zion in the meantime is going Heartsteel again. High highs, low lows this item. If you're really far behind and you're building this and you're not stacking it as a top laner, you're going to have a rough time. As a jungler, you know, we don't really always need the stacking. It's nice to get the stacking. But again, same thing, right? If you're super far behind, you're not going to feel the same power as you would when you have a lead. Yeah. All right, so now we know we're going to need the Zhonya's. Following that, I would anticipate you could look to do something like a Banshee's Veil Void Staff combo because of the hook as well as the W from the Echo. I think that's definitely something to consider. If you're super, super duper far ahead, right? And the gold lead here is we're about equal. We need to look to bust this game open, right? So our itemization is crucial. We do have the stopwatch, obviously. We don't have the Zhonya's. We want to not finish the Zhonya's. We want to try to get the stopwatch usage, finish Zhonya's, and have it up again immediately. Because you can really break open a 20-minute game if you have stopwatch in your rune set, but not wasting it by just buying it and upgrading it to Zhonya's when you haven't even used the stopwatch yet. Okay, it's too warm. I had to pause. I had to sneeze because hay fever apparently in January is now a thing. No. Great job, world. We done good. Okay, so we don't have the movement speed, but we do have the, we don't have the active, but we do have the movement speed from the Gust Walk, as you can see. And it's really helping because it gets activated every time you're in a bush. Now she's going to repost, but she's dead. I mean, that's so much damage coming through from the Shadow Flame, from the Leandries. But again, as soon as you do this on the split pusher, at this point in the game with a Caitlyn and an Echo and a Vlad, that is an absolute free Baron that you're giving away. However, is it free? Let's observe. We're Fiddlesticks. We can move straight up there. We have Gust Walker Hatchling as our movement speed proc. They're not going to do it as quickly as, say, a Kaiser comp would. We do have our ultimate available. Here we go. We're going to ult in, flash, and get the Fierce Silence. We're going to... Jesus. We just killed everybody and stole the Baron. Let's watch that again. How about it? That was nice. All right, here we go. Ult into the pit with a flash. Okay, we're getting that Fling Fear onto the jungle, which is most important. Vral's following up. We're focusing down the Echo as much as possible. We're doing damage over time. We're waiting for the Baron. We're going to smite that little late, but we're going to get it. And the rest of the time is just sucky, and of course AoE damage from the ultimate, which at this point now does 2,000 damage over 5 seconds. 2,000. So, make the pick straight for the Baron. Now, that is a coin flip play. I will not debate you on that. But the enemy team should have turned or should have pulled off. They should not have stayed in the pit once they saw them rotating. That is an absolute illegal play. I don't know why you would stay in the pit versus the Fiddle, especially one who is quite fed. So Leandry's now has done 1800 damage. Shadow Flame has done like 700 bonus damage, and now our team have a Baron given to us. This is where Fiddle just dominates. Now, if you're in a low elo situation, okay, and we look at their team comp, right? Fiora has Gore Drinker, Rockabelt on the Echo, Night Harvester on the Vlad. Obviously, we have the Rel. Your Leandry's is going to be doing enough, okay? There's not enough magic resist on their team at the moment whereby the passive from Rockabelt would do anything meaningful, all right? It's there, it exists, it helps, but at this particular moment, HP is the issue, and of course, haste, having rotational spells on everything, basically. So 64 seconds here, this is now 5.71, right? And you're channeling that for 2 seconds, so it's quite quickly up again. They're not going to be able to burst you out at this stage. Because, of course, we went for the Banshee's Veil. We didn't go for the Void, and we didn't waste... Again, this is perfect. We didn't use our stopwatch. Oh, man. Oh boy, let's just focus the right target. Don't try and go hero mode. Just focus the main target, the burn damage. Ooh, okay. Well, he's got Ignite, the bleed from Talon from his passive, the burn from the Leandries on the Fiddlesticks. The Blitzcrank was always going to die. So again, nice dynamic itemization shift, right? We hadn't yet used our stopwatch. So why would we just upgrade Zhonya's when the stopwatch is still available to be used? And the components that we use to build into Zhonya's can also be flexed pretty easily into building the Banshee's Veil, which will do a great job against this particular comp. So that's exactly what we do. It's a very good flex from the Fiddlesticks. Now the Caitlyn's is split pushing and dying. So we'll take this inhib, obviously keep an eye out of on those things. They do have 2 dragons. Unfortunately, due to the early power thing, mind games, they do have 2 dragons, but we can fall back to that pretty easily. Talon can also go and snack it, but instead he's taking wolves. We're going to do 1 more tower here. Watch the respawn timers. Watch the respawn timers because you don't overcommit. Okay? We can probably do it unless... Well, we have ult in 2, 1. Over the wall we go. He wanted to try and get into the bush for the movement speed from the Gus Walker, but we weren't able to get there in time. We had to go back in. Nice turn, and again, disrespect by the enemy. Low elo, this will happen a lot. Low elo, this will happen a lot. Without a doubt. You just have to make sure you're positioning and pressing R. Hence the Ultimate Hunter. And the first strike, we can look at that in a second. It's very funny when Fiora or Echo or someone goes in against the Fiddle-based comp and they're kind of sitting back and you've got a tank. And you just fear them, right? I think here now with everyone respawning again and us having so much cash money in pocket and getting a little low, I think we should leave. I think we should leave. The Fiddle is... His body language is like, guys... Please... Please don't stay and die, which, of course, they would in your elo. So what could you do in that situation? Just leave, take their wolves, take their gromp, right? Boom, boom, and then snack this baby. For free. Easy. It really, really is. You can control your own things. You do not have to let your team overstaying force you to stay and die as well. Let them die. It's fine. It's 2 inhibs. Take this. This. Loop back. Back to base. Your whole team is now respawned. All right, guys. Everyone top lane, please. Let's finish this off. Boom, done. You see how easy it is? Not difficult. Now, the damage at this point is 2,500, and here now it's getting a little bit more difficult for us to kind of not upgrade the Zhonya. So at 24, 25 minutes, when you just have Magi upgraded, when you have no other slot itemization, don't sell the stopwatch, don't use the stopwatch, right? Just upgrade the Zhonya. See, now we can, because we're full build, right? You're full build, so at this point, if you really haven't had to use the Zhonyas, or the stopwatch, excuse me, then I anticipate you having a pretty damn good game. Which means finally, yes, we can upgrade it. We can go into, obviously, our Void and Death cap instead of the Magi's, should we need to, in a game where we're not obviously getting Giga stacks. Although, the Vlad has not had his Magi's 25 games. So good job by the Fiddle here. Why are we going to the top side? Blue, Gromp, obviously want to maximize our level, make sure we're 16, 100%. We're going to go ahead and clear the vision using effigies. We're pushing this up a little bit. We should match the top lane now. Fiora's down at the bottom side. We could look to collapse, but then again, why are we bot lane? Let's just everyone go top lane. Once the people have pushed up mid lane, add up, 5 people here, wait for the waves to push in, straightforward macro, set a trap here as Fiddle. All right, very, very nice. And the Echo W is gone. The Scion is just, you know, playing with a Scion is just funny. At least it's a tank Scion, but look at this. This is good. No minion wave now, so be cautious, no minion wave, because if Vlad and everyone will go in, of course he has activated his ultimate, and Talon is now out of position. Fiddlesticks says, alright, I'm not going to wait anymore, I'm just going to go and get the flare, get the silence on the Echo, make sure he dies, to protect my ADC. The rest of his team is being kited down here, no stress for us. We kind of want to look to shadow this particular moment. Here we go, we're going to try hit our E, we don't, Rel goes in, beautifully done, sucky, cancel if you need to. well, cancel against your will, pretty much, right? But nicely done. Basic macro principles, excellent 15-1-10 fiddle game, using Landry's and Gus Walker beautifully. Excellent flex itemization into cost, like it was affordable. He bought the right items at the right moment. He was adapting it. Why am I clicking on the Kaiser? And the first strike for context at this particular moment. Can I click on him? Thank you so much. Damage dealt, you have it there, 1200 gold gained, 900 not insane, but as you have to talk about with runes, it's not always the total amount. It's in what moments did those things trigger, and in what break-even points did that gold come in handy, the complete items that allowed you to win subsequent fights. You always have to analyze the game within context to the numbers given, but overall, yes, Rocker Belt is the way to go. However, please, against certain comps, think about things like Luden's, things like Leandry's, and Fiddle can be quite interesting in that regard, and flex your itemization. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, Coaching Site has all your signups, Coaching Channel has all your free coaching, Zada.gg has your Fiddlesticks live companion guides and all other junglers, main channel is in-depth guides, and I will see you all in the next tutorial. And to start off for Season 13, I will be hosting another bootcamp with Coach Kybert for laners and junglers and for every single role. Topics on your screen now starts end of January 30th. Basically, we're going to be covering everything in this video in depth related to you, giving you some active examples, some drills, everything to make you a better League of Legends player as a whole, all through a really in-depth 2-week bootcamp from January 30th onward. And additionally, I will be raffling off a $400 coaching package to a lucky winner who subscribes in the first 100 tickets, which means a further 4 hours of coaching directly with me, all free for you after the bootcamp is finished. And overall, the bootcamp is just chocked full of absolute free coaching, free VOD reviews, Q&As. We have 10 different sessions for you from myself and Coach Kybert. We have other challenger coaches on call. Essentially, you're looking at something like 30 coaching sessions for the price of one, all within a community hosted by Gosu Academy. So click the link in the description below, sign up, join the Discord, and I will see you all there to learn everything you need to know about Season 13 jungling and laning so that you can climb to your ranked goals and beyond.